Welcome back. Today, I'm 3 hours northwest of Sydney, back in the Capertee Valley. Whether you're planning your own trip or just keen for some campfire vibes, stick around because this one's going to be special. Sit back and relax, and I hope you enjoy the video. It's been about 10 months since I was in Capertee, and back then I checked out the Glen Davis works and actually did the tour there. I do have a video on that, so if you haven't seen that, that's also a good watch. This weekend I decided to get out into the Capertee National Park and do a solo overnight camp. I haven't been here before, and this is the furthest towards Glen Alice that I've actually driven. About 10 kilometres down Glen Alice Road, you'll take the turn off onto Port Macquarie Road, which turns to gravel. You keep on following it for about 15 minutes, past a few homesteads, before you enter the Capertee National Park. You do need to book for this campground, and it cost me $12.30 plus a booking fee for one night.
So to get in the park, you've got to put a 4-digit code in.
This is the first national park that I've been to that has a PIN code access and a lock gate. Let me know if there's any others in New South Wales and what your thoughts are on this. I know there's been a lot of debate about gates on national parks recently, so I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. This was a last minute trip, but I did have a look at campgrounds about 7 or 8 days before, and this particular campground had no availability. So online, I wasn't able to book anything. Then, just to try my luck the night before, I did another check, and a full 8 or 9 sites were available to book. So there's definitely something funny going on there as well.
So there's some park information boards and things like that about the national park and the kind of animals and things you can find in here. And then talking about animals, you got the big kangaroo, 2 smaller ones in the distance, and then you've got a wombat. There's another one here. He's not really moving anywhere. Maybe he just doesn't care, he's too old.
I had a quick look around before deciding to pick the campsite furthest from the main road in. To be honest, all the sites seem pretty quiet and they overlook the Capertee River. And as you'll see in this video, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of kangaroos within the Capertee National Park. I also saw a good 5 or 6 wombats and heard a lot of wildlife moving around during the night. I found this fire poker, which looks like an old tent pole, and decided to claim that for myself. As you can see, each of the campsites gets a steel fire ring that's got a swing out hot plate. There's also a camp table and a shared long drop toilet for all the sites. It's probably the cleanest toilet in New South Wales.
So I actually bought one of these firewood bags from the service station, and most of the wood seems to be a bit wet, so we'll see how it goes. It doesn't seem to be wet all the way through, like there's definitely some dry pieces in there, like this one here, but some of the other ones are well damp, so it'll all dry out once the fire gets going. So I'm just making a little teepee. I might find some leaves or sticks just to put under that, and we'll get that going. You can hear the wind in the pine trees, so if it gets any stronger I might move the car just to this side of the fire over here, just to create a bit of a windbreak, because this is probably, thinking about it now, one of the most exposed campsites. But we'll give this a go. And the secret weapon to getting the fire started is basically just a butane canister with one of those chef torches, and this will get it well and truly started. That's done the trick. So it's only about 3:30, 3:40 in the afternoon, and there's heaps of sunshine, as you can see. Not a cloud in the sky here, but it is going to get dark quickly and it will get cold quickly. So I want to get this going so I can cook the steak around 5:30. And that's starting to take now. And this is just an eBay attachment. You can buy these for about $7-8 on eBay, shipped and delivered. I've got a couple of them, and they just attach to the normal Bunnings or BCF butane cans, and they work an absolute treat, as you can see. So it's slowly going. It's only been a couple minutes, but it seems to be catching on pretty well. And in the time that this has started to catch, the sun has gone over this ridge over here, and it's starting to get a little bit cold outside the sun. So I think we're going to lose the sun in the next 15-20 minutes. So I will get setting up the tent shortly, but I just wanted to get the fire started. Awesome spot so far. So that's the sleeping situation sorted out, and I've just quickly chucked all my bedding in there as well. So I've got a Dune queen sized self-inflatable mattress or mat, and a Coleman Mudgee C3 sleeping bag, 2 pillows, and an extra blanket because I know it's going to get cold down here in the valley. And I'm just waiting for the fire to fully take. It is getting there with some of the bigger bits of timber, but I really need to get this cracking and get some coals on there, because the plan is to cook a Tomahawk in the next hour or so. So hopefully I can get that done before it gets too dark. And you can see the sun is setting over the hills over on the other side of the valley. So very quiet spot, and there's probably only one other car here. And I've already seen one wombat on the way in, and I dare say there's probably going to be some wombats out tonight. This wombat hole is massive, so it looks like it's caved in sections. It also nearly looks like it's 2 or 3 holes. So all through the tree roots, massive hole here. A bit of rubbish down there as well, but it's right next to the campsite, so we'll see if we hear anything. So it's the middle of July, and the Capertee River, as you can see, is absolutely bone dry the whole way through this section, which is surprising because there was some puddles and rain and things like that on the drive down here, but not a drop of water along this section. But I can imagine when there's water in here, just make this campsite that much better. I'm not sure if there's any fish in here or anything like that, but if there was, that'd be cool as well. So this is the valley lookout, and you can drive right to the top of it, but it's basically a 360 view of the valleys all around the place. You can see the sun setting on some of the hills, so awesome spot. It was full of kangaroos when I came from down there and drove up the hill, so I'll see if I can show you that on the GoPro. But very cool spot. No mobile reception up here, which is the main reason I came up here quickly this afternoon, unfortunately, but very cool. So I'm back at camp and the fire has taken off. It's coming along nicely. And the plan for dinner before it gets too dark is to cook this 1.2 kilo Tomahawk on the tripod over the coals. So it's a Bass Strait, pure southern beef, 100% grass fed, no hormones, free range Tomahawk steak. So we'll give this a go. It was about $37, so hopefully it's good, and I'll get seasoning that in a second. But before then, I will set up this tripod stand, which is basically, I think this was a BCF, possibly Anaconda Campfire tripod. So I set this up at home, and it basically hangs a chain for you to cook over the fire. So I'll put this down and get that set up now. So these are just barbecue charcoals, one is variety. So just before I give this a proper seasoning, I'm actually going to drill a hole through the bone. So I actually have brought my drill from home, and I've just put a small size drill bit on there. I'm basically just going to drill it while it's in the packaging so it's easy to hold. So feel for the bone, because we want to basically put the hook through that, and it shouldn't be very hard to do at all. So just a really small hole through there. Took 1 second to do. So this is the rub I'm going to use for the night. This is actually a now defunct company, which is Oak Ridge Barbecue, and I managed to snag this one up on eBay for, I think it was like $30 or $35 land in Australia. So it's just under 500 grams, so half a kilo, and this is going to last me quite some time. So I'm going to do some generous seasoning now and let it sit for 5 before I put it on the chain. So it's been a couple of minutes, and I've just let the rub kind of sink in. I am going to hang this up now and try and position it over the fire. So I haven't actually used the chain it came with. I've basically just hung it off the 2 hooks I've got and used the top section or the crossbar just to let it hang freely. It really doesn't hang that high off the fire. So for some reason I thought it would be a lot higher, which is unfortunate. So I will keep an eye on it because it is quite low, close to the flames. But this is probably going to take at least an hour. We'll see how this goes. This is definitely the way to cook. The fire is hot. Got a cold cider, and in the distance behind the table there is a kangaroo. So I'll let this go for a while I do have a thermometer in the car, so when it starts to look a bit more done, I might see what the internal temp is, just to make sure it's not undercooked. I might also give it a hit with the butane torch as well, just to crisp up the outside and render some of the fat. Overall, it's looking pretty good. So try and render some of this fat down on the side. So to go with the steak, I've got some Kipfler potatoes, which I'm just going to put in the billy here and boil up. So I'll do that now, and I'll put this on the fire, let it cook for a while. So I've just moved the Tomahawk down a little bit closer to the coals, just because it's taking so long to cook. The potatoes are boiling nicely. A lot of steam coming off, and the Tomahawk will hopefully be done soon. So it's running out quite nicely. So the potatoes are done. Just gonna let them sit, and just gonna split them open. I'll put them in the bowl. So just like that. Just gonna cut them in half. And then I'm just going to throw some lepak, some butter over them. And then I'm going to throw some rosemary salt on top. And this is actually Capertee salt, so I actually got this in Wilcannia on one of my last trips. So this is pretty good stuff. It's actually off a dry salt lake, so you can notice the difference compared to regular salt. Let's give these a stir through. So I've taken the steak off now, and it's been on for about 2.5 hours, and it's ready to cut, I think. I'm not going to rest it just because I'm impatient. You could probably let it sit for half an hour, but it has been hanging up, so a lot of the juices would have already come out. So as I cut through it, I'm expecting the end to be well done, or in this case charred, and basically to work up to medium rare the further you work your way in. So we'll see if we're right. It's actually cooked much better than I thought, and you're probably getting up to medium rare in some of the bits and pieces. So this part here, definitely well done. These parts close to the bone, you can see it's probably medium rare towards the bottom, but for some reason that side seems to be well done. So I'm pretty happy with that. Parts of it also have a pretty good bark on it, so you really need to go heavy with the rub to get good coverage, but so far so good. And the potatoes, also very good. 10 out of 10. So the potatoes came out really good as well. Nice and soft, buttery, covered with rosemary salt. Not a bad meal. Meat and potatoes. Capertee Valley style. So the pancakes turned out semi-decent. I'll finish cooking these and then finish packing up before I have a look around. So I've just packed up and got back on the road in, and I'm just stopping about 500 meters down from the campsite to check out the old woolshed ruins. So these were built sometime around 1920, and this entire section of the national park is actually an old sheep station, which is pretty cool. And that's actually the old kangaroo from yesterday, sitting right in front of the building. I didn't even see him there. You right, matey? So this is the old shearing shed or wool sheds in ruins. And then up on the hill there, you've got a old homestead. So I think it's the Port Macquarie Capertee homestead, which you can actually hire out and stay there. So the door doesn't actually open, but you can kind of poke your head in there and have a look. And I'm not sure what's going on here, but there's a bunch of kangaroo carcasses around as well. So there's one under here. That kangaroo's dead here. And this other one, he's definitely on the way out. It's an old children's toy. Horse with some wheels on it.